Hi
Hi.
everyone,
Hi.
and a very warm welcome to this special edition of SEO Talk. For those who are new here, SEO Talk started way back in 2012 as a community initiative by Malhar Barai with the goal of creating a safe space for women for SEO enthusiasts to come together. In 2017, Parth Subha joined as co-host, and together they have helped build a community rooted in one deep, simple motto or mantra: learn together, share together, and grow together. Right? That is how we all grow. Today's topic is especially very close to our hearts: how to build a personal brand as a woman in SEO. We are honored to have three incredible panelists with us: Maria, Claire, and Debbie, each of whom brings a unique journey, voice, and personal branding story from the world of SEO. And of course, a big thank you to Preeti Gupta for helping us post on Women in Tech SEO Slack community, which led us to these amazing panelists. And of course, huge gratitude to Arij Abu Ali, the force behind Women in Tech SEO, a phenomenal community that has given so many women in SEO the space, support, and spotlight we all needed. And I am Suchi Goyal. I'll be your moderator today. I'm super excited to dive into this conversation, and I hope everyone tuning in finds insights, inspiration, maybe even a little spark to show up more boldly in your own SEO journey. All right, let's get started. But before that, please allow me to give a brief introduction of our wonderful panelists. First, I'll begin with Maria. So, we are thrilled to have Maria with us. She is a dynamic marketing and coaching expert. Maria has built a multi-passionate career spanning SEO, business coaching, and career development. As an organic growth specialist and senior SEO manager, she specializes in sustainable health, tech, and people-focused industries, bridging the gap between tech and human-centered solutions. She is active on various groups, and Maria empowers coaches to grow their online presence, supports ambitious women in their careers, a very wonderful initiative, and inspires audiences as a keynote speaker. A true global citizen, she speaks multiple languages and brings an international perspective to her work. Uh, Claire, Claire is an experienced SEO and digital marketer with over a decade of experience across in-house agency and freelance roles. So she has touched almost all gamuts of SEO, or maybe of a career, maybe. Based in Loire Valley, she helps businesses in the UK, US, and France strengthen their online presence through strategic SEO, tech SEO optimization, and content-driven growth. She is an active member of Women in Tech SEO and Digital Marketing Union, frequently sharing her insights on podcasts and industry conferences. When she is not diving into SEO, she enjoys exploring the French countryside, spending time with her two wonderful daughters. Last but not the least, hi Debbie. She is an SEO analyst and freelance content writer who turns complex SaaS and tech topics into content people actually want to read, and they love to read and look forward to. Over the past 4 years, she has built a personal brand by sharing insights, sparking conversations, and connecting with industry pros globally. A huge welcome. Thank you so much for joining Maria, Claire, and Debbie.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
shall we get started with the
Yeah,
first section?
let's do it.
So, our
Yes.
first section is personal journey and identity. My first question is, let's start with your journey. How did you enter this SEO industry, and when did you start building a personal brand? And you were quite conscious about it and you took it as a goal. Maybe who would like to start? Maria, would you like to begin with?
Yes. So actually, I started in 2019 with digital marketing, and then from 2020, 2022, I only focused on SEO. So it's the last 2-3 years. And when I was doing digital marketing, I immediately fell in love with SEO. I worked on page SEO, content SEO at first. But I love the long-term impact that actually working on the foundations of organic marketing could have. It can have quick impact, but also a long-term impact and results. So actually, I really was attracted to that from the very beginning. And my personal brands, I started before. So, for example, my LinkedIn, I started in 2011, but I changed careers, so I had already experience with personal branding. And then I just had to pivot and shift
That's quite
my
interesting.
my profile actually. Yes.
Yeah,
Over to you, Claire.
it's kind of the
Would
same
you?
for me. So obviously, I started in SEO around 15 years ago, and that was a long time, a long time ago. And then I really focused on SEO. So I was doing general marketing and focused in 2015 and discovered that I loved combining words and digital marketing. But the idea of really working on my personal brand didn't kind of occur to me until maybe 2 to 3 years ago when I was really starting to freelance, and I'd only used LinkedIn really as more of a networking tool and for posting for clients and things, but I had never really used it for myself. So it's only really quite recently that I've started to really consider using, well, LinkedIn and the online world to really develop my personal brand. But yeah, it's a really exciting kind of new phase for me.
All right. Hi, Debbie. So, how did your SEO journey start?
So I will start with my content writing journey, and that was as far back as 2021 when I ventured into freelancing. Then it was very difficult to get jobs on marketplaces like Fiverr, Upwork, and all of that. So I was in the process of experimenting, trying to look for way out. Then I don't just know how it started. I heard about LinkedIn. Then I started creating content on LinkedIn, and I think I loved it. I love the kind of people I met there, the connection, people sharing values. And I was just doing it effortlessly. I was enjoying it, naive, and all of that. Then my first job as a content writer came from LinkedIn after maybe 2 or 3 months posting actively on LinkedIn. So it started from there. Then in 2022, I got an opportunity to transition into SEO through Chima Meje of the FCDC. So it started when I started learning SEO. We had to share our experiences, what we were learning in SEO on LinkedIn and on Twitter. It was interesting, it was overwhelming, and we loved the fact that people were supporting our journey as a learner in SEO. Then I heard about Women in Tech SEO, we joined, and whenever we have questions, I asked there, and it was very supportive. So until last year, I had to transition back to content writing for SaaS brands. Until now, I can say that LinkedIn has been very instrumental to my personal branding. And sometimes I find it overwhelming. Sometimes I run out of content ideas to share. But recently, I've tried doing a mix of what I enjoy doing
I'm not
most.
able to hear
And
you, Debbie. Now I.
my God, how is it now?
Yeah, now it's good. It's good. It's good.
Oh, so where did you lose me? I don't know.
That's okay. It happens. Shall we move to our
Mm.
next question?
Yes, please.
Did being a woman in the SEO industry impact the way you approach personal branding? If yes, how? Did it impact your personal branding? Being a woman in SEO, did you find any challenges or some extra support? How it shaped for you?
Mm, I
Mm.
think
Who
I'll
would
go
like to
first.
go first? You'll go first? Lovely.
Yeah. So I was still mentioning something like that, that women in tech SEO was very instrumental. It has been instrumental to my journey and in building my personal brand, because sometimes as a beginner, when I was feeling like I do not know much, I don't know how people would perceive me, but being in that community gives me this confidence and support that I need to put myself out there, especially when I see experienced SEOs sharing their vulnerable moments, how they are a little bit nervous about stuffs. That gives me confidence that if someone with 20 years experience still have this imposter syndrome, who am I with just my little experience? So I can say that women in tech SEO has been a very helpful community as regards building my personal brand.
I would agree. And I would say that I think maybe 10 or more years ago, it seemed to me like there were lots of really key players in the industry who were men. So like Rand Fishkin, Neil Patel, etc. And I thought, or maybe there's less women role models out there. It felt more like a man's world of kind of technical SEO, big personalities. But I really think in the last 5 to 7 years, especially with women in tech as well, it feels to me at least like the industry has changed a lot. And I think for me, seeing awesome women like Arid and Alida Solis and Lily Ray becoming really kind of amazing key leaders in the industry has really inspired me and has made me more confident, and to think I can go out there and just do it as well. So yeah, I think women in tech especially has been like just there growing with us all and supporting us. And I agree, it's incredible to see people with so much experience also feeling a bit vulnerable, and it's just really inspiring.
I joined the Slack channel of Women in Tech SEO like recently, a few months ago.
Could you be a little louder? Sorry,
Yes.
little
So
loud, please.
yeah, so I joined the Slack channel of Women in Tech SEO a few months ago, and before that, it's true, I felt maybe a little bit little, because in Germany where I live, most of the SEOs who actively post are men. There are some women who take the stage, who have lots of experience also, like Claire, who take the stage very often every year in Germany. But like women who really contribute and write articles or write LinkedIn posts on a regular basis, most of the people I follow, it's true, here in Germany, are men. And Aleida Solis and Lily Ray are actually, I agree, amazing examples. But they feel like far away as well. So it's important for me in the Slack channel to have people who are a bit closer, who don't look so intimidating. It's like a too long-term vision, these two women, but a little bit closer. It's good to have some people with a bit more experience, and who can show you the way. And I got the opportunity last month to have a WTS mentor. So I found a match, and so this is really, and I have a coach in personal branding as well. She's not an SEO, and having those two together for me, it's like a big honor, and I really recommend for a personal brand. It's good to test and try, um, but having a coach, mentor, community who help you out makes you feel more supported as a woman. Yes, in SEO, I would say. Yeah.
I completely concur that. Have you faced any unique challenges while putting yourself out there? How did you overcome them? Any interesting story? Maybe it can be challenges or learnings you would like to share with the audience?
Um,
Um, I think for me, it's not so much a huge one, but I moved to France around 18 months ago, and so my real challenge is to rebuild my network in France. And the online communities I have been really invaluable. But I think I'm struggling at the moment, and it's just a work in progress to find a personal brand identity that really encapsulates my international kind of experience as well. So I think that's one that I'm trying to figure out. And I don't think it's a challenge that's unique to me because lots of people are international SEOs. But I think I've really realized the importance of community in building my personal brand. And now that I've kind of got to create a bit of an alternative community, it's just feeling a little more challenging. Yeah.
Wonderful. Maria,
yeah.
did you face any?
Yes. I started. So apart from being an SEO, I'm also a coach, and mm, it's interesting how these both careers got together. I merged them. So I I tested actually. When I went on a retreat with coaches, I presented content marketing. So I talked a lot about organic marketing, content marketing, SEO on a retreat to coaches because I thought when I first tried, when I was self-employed for the first time, I thought, okay, what are my skills? What I'm good at? And I started working with this, only with this side. But then I thought to myself, yeah, but which audience, which are my ideal clients? And I discovered that actually I love to work with coaches. I'm a coach myself. I know, I understand them. And I tested it. At the very beginning, I didn't know if it would be a good idea. So on that retreat, I offered to talk about organic marketing, content marketing. And I felt it was a safe space. We were like 40 people, many women as well. And they all had so much value from my talk. I felt empowered. I got some great feedback, and it actually confirmed that I wanted to continue working with them. It was not clear that I would do only SEO at the time, but now actually I've grown, and now actually I have I clarified my brand, and now I'm a SEO consultant and business coach for coaches. So it started in 22, but I had a baby in the in the meantime. uh, I froze it, and I adapted my personal brand in the last years. And it's testing, experimenting, was always challenging, and always being hesitating. What do I write? How do I position myself? So it's a bit struggle. I started in 2020 to really think about my personal brand. Who do I stand for? So it's a long journey, and it feels so great to have this clarity. Um, you can, yeah. So testing, taking action by yourself gives you clarity in that. But it was a challenging journey. And then having mentors, coaches, more experienced people. You need both, I think. You need to test yourself as well. Yeah.
All right. With this, we'll move to our next section, tactics and strategy, the most important thing that helps grow. What platforms have worked best for building your personal brand? X, LinkedIn, personal blog, conferences. Which platform? I think you initially, everyone touched base with LinkedIn, I think so.
Yeah.
The hot favorite of everyone for personal branding.
Yeah, I love LinkedIn. I think it's a
Me
really
too.
easy kind of one to start with, at least, isn't it? And you get lots of good feedback, and kind of you can experiment, and there's lots of opportunities for networking, and you can find out about events. You can sponsor your posts as well. You can post your website there. It's just it's perfect. And then I think maybe using another supporting channel like X or Blue Sky is kind of like the tactic I have at the moment. Yeah, LinkedIn all the way.
Wow. In 2020, suddenly with COVID, I was unemployed, and I thought, how can I use my marketing skills? What can I talk about? I'm like, okay, I changed careers, jobs. I can talk about career development. And at that moment, I was a bit more shy than now. Was not that so confident. I had a network on LinkedIn, but I was a bit scared of their perception. So I started with Instagram. So I mean, I was I posted a little bit on LinkedIn before, but without a real personal brand. I mean, just randomly sharing or posting something. But then I tried new things on Instagram because it felt comfortable. Yeah. But now I now I start again with a new brand. I have a rebrand. And actually LinkedIn fits better. Uh, Hi Debbie. And mm, and now I prefer LinkedIn. But it's true that when you don't have for opportunities, it's better to have a platform where you have a big network. But the first time you want to post or you're starting your rebrand, it can be a little bit scary. But the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. And yeah, so this is right now I prefer LinkedIn as well, like Claire. Yeah.
Great, it's scary. I spend quite a long time currently on posts, and I think the more I do, the more confident I get. But it really feels quite exposing almost, because it's the face of your brand, really, isn't it? And it is really nerve-wracking, but it's so good to get that positive feedback, and it builds on itself in a bit of a snowball.
All right, welcome back, Debbie. I'll repeat the question for you. What platforms have worked best for building your personal brand? X, Insta, LinkedIn, personal blog, or attending conferences or events? What really worked well for you?
Okay, for me, it has been LinkedIn so far. LinkedIn from day one till now, and it has been a kind of struggle for me to try and adapt to other platform, because looking at how marketing is going towards the omni-channel um, perspective, it's a struggle for me because I'm so used to LinkedIn. And right now I'm trying to also transition into creating video content for platforms like YouTube, TikTok. But I'm evolving with my personal brand, and as marketing is changing as well, I'm also trying to adapt. So far it has been LinkedIn.
I want to add something as well. I attended many conferences. I mean, every year I go to two, three. Um, so I love to network face to face as well. Um, it's true when I go alone and I know nobody. The beginning it's like okay, but then I have some icebreakers. I'm not afraid to just say, so how is the coffee? Or what's your goal today? Do you want to learn? Do you want to so I start to ice break when I don't know anybody, but I love it because then when you are alone, then you go a bit everywhere. You don't stay with your group, with your colleagues or so, and then you can really explore and have time to reflect when you listen to speakers. But no, it's amazing for networking, for getting insights. So I love that. And your personal brand is not only online, it's also offline. So and it has to be the same. So what you put on your bio on LinkedIn or Instagram, it has to be the same when you present yourself, and it has to be crystal clear as well. And how many questions do you ask to people you meet face to face as well? So that's also important, to get to know the people, to see how you could help each other. So that's beautiful. And I love the spontaneity of it at networking events. So for me, it helped also. Yeah.
I have something to add too, but I would say networking definitely, and I guess the ultimate goal to get as much exposure as possible to be speaking at events and things, but that feels quite like something that would come later. I've seen my mentor, for example, in Women in Tech, that was one of her goals, and I can just see like how amazing it would be for building your personal brand. But I guess that would have to be done like further down the journey. And I think as well, mentoring is such a lovely way to kind of get into the ecosystem of your community, which is really valuable for building your brand too. Both mentoring and being a mentee equally is just a great way to become absorbed in your community and get support for your brand and give back and get supported as well.
I completely agree. When I go for conferences, I also feel little lonely for a second. I love those icebreakers. How's the coffee? Or how's the food? You have already started with my next question. So, how do you balance showing personality with being professional in public spaces like social media? Maybe
So
I'll
like,
repeat the question. Like, how do you balance showing personality with being professional? I think Maria already said that it's important to show your personality both online and offline.
yeah,
Because,
because
yeah,
I mean, showing your face, I think it's important. That would be one thing, but also having your unique tone of voice. That just feeling like, okay, that's another woman in SEO woman who writes. But it's important to feel when you write that it's your unique perspective, it's your experience. Maybe your a formal type, a more informal type. I like to smile a lot, so that's also why I put a sun after my name on LinkedIn, because I have this positive energy. People tell me that I have lots of energy, so I also use that, and I say sunny greetings when I in the DMs, for example. So that's important. The way you write, put your photo. Don't put just a random photo on when you write about an article. If there is a link, and then okay. But I would encourage people to show their face. If you're comfortable with video, it's okay. If it's not perfect, then do it as well. Personality. Sharing your own struggles, your learnings. So people actually right now, it's important. Brand is getting even more important. That's we have this super topic today, and we have to stand out, because now with AI, with all the information we have out there, how can we be unique? Why should I go to you and not to another person? Because I feel good with you, because I love your vibe, I love your energy, I love the way you talk. I feel safe. Yeah, and some
I
people
can
want,
trust you.
yeah.
Yeah, it gives me that kind of trust as humans. We all, and I completely agree. Nowadays, we are not only competing with humans, with AI also, with tech also.
Mhm.
Our invisible maybe competition or mentor that time only will tell. So, who would like to answer it next? I'll leave it up to you, Debbie or Claire. How do you show your personality?
See.
I think Oh, sorry. No, you go. You go for it.
Okay.
So,
Maybe we can, no, that's okay. We can, you want to speak, or maybe I can move to the other question, the way you feel comfortable.
I was just going to echo a lot of what Maria said. I like to share some personal things, but that are still really linked to my professional life. So to try and get as much personality across, but obviously not kind of overshare, because LinkedIn is a bit of a classic for kind of, I feel, a lot of oversharing. But obviously keep the tone on brand and professional and as closely linked to what you're working on, and just show your journey, I think, as well, because like you say, Maria, that really helps people to connect with you and to feel safe with you. And I think that is a real key thing for people to want to work with you ultimately, because if they can see you're a nice person and you're kind and you're supportive, and you know the real you, then that's gold, really, isn't it? So yeah.
Debbie, would you like to add something?
yes, of course. So I was about to say that looking at what branding means exactly, it's all about having or finding that unique element that would help you to stand out. And for me, when I started, it's can you hear me?
Yeah, please continue. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. So I was
It's good.
saying that personal branding is all about finding that unique elements in you that you can leverage to stand out. For me, it's I got to understand that very late because when I started posting on LinkedIn, I thought it was all about appearing professionally, sharing valuable insights every time. But it started getting boring for me. So this year, I've been doing a mix of adding some funny comments, making others, just laugh. Then it started becoming more interesting to me. So for me, I feel like it's all about trying to understand yourself, knowing who you are, the unique aspects of you that you can bring to your brand. For example, if you are a writer and you are very good with design, there's a way you can combine that to stand out in that writing niche or SEO.
So let's move to our next question. When someone is just starting out, what's one low effort but high impact way to build their personal brand? That means, like, if someone who is looking at starting in 2025, low effort and good impact, so that they can build their personal brand.
This sounds very tricky.
Any tips?
I mean, I would say have your LinkedIn profile clear. Just work on that.
Could you
Spend
be a
time on
little
it.
louder?
I would say work on your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, that's very important. Work on building your LinkedIn profile. All
Exactly.
the sections, they have to be updated.
Yes. Yeah. And
And
find help to do that as well. Yeah.
Maybe
I
they can
think,
just start, and if I can add, they can just start doing it. There is no right or wrong way towards personal. With time, you will obviously find your sweet spot. Be consistent, keep reading what others are posting and commenting on others' posts. You will definitely get some ideas and thoughts.
and I think one thing I've been doing is just trying to make all my digital presence really consistent. And I've also been talking to the LLMs, so ChatGPT and things, and I've just been feeding it information about me so that I'm getting their attention almost, and getting in there as well with the AI and the LLMs. So the AI overviews and the LLMs kind of just changing everything so much in the last year. I guess that's a big thing for people coming into it now, is to really figure out, okay, I have to have my presence, which is LinkedIn or a website. It has to be consistent, and I have to make sure that I'm optimizing for Google and for LLMs and all of it at the same time. Sounds a lot, but I think that's one important thing for this year, definitely.
Okay, I want to add that.
Debbie, would you like to add some insights here?
Yes, of course. I want to add that clarity could be one of those low effort and high impact stuff. And clarity in terms of knowing your goal. Why are you trying to build your personal brand? And for a beginner, it's very difficult to be able to clearly define what that is. So I always suggest or recommend trying to talk to people who are doing what you are growing yourself to be. For example, if you are trying to become an SEO analyst and you are still at the beginning level, try to talk to seniors, try to gain from their knowledge. What can I do? Where can I start from? What mistakes did you make when you start? And what can I avoid? What would you recommend I try out? So I think if a beginner can try to clearly define his or her goal, that would be a low effort and high impact value.
Correct. Clarity of thought, consistency. I'll sum up building your LinkedIn profile, updating all the various sections. Yes, that is how you need to get started. All right. With this, we close this section, tactics and strategy, and let's move to our next section. And we are already halfway through. We didn't realize. How do you decide what to post or talk about publicly in a way that aligns with your brand?
I didn't understand very well the
How do you
question.
how do you select what you need to post or talk about? And it of course aligns with your personal brand as well. Like there can be a number of things we can talk about, but when you are building your personal brand, all those posts, they must align with your personal brand. How do you balance these both? It's up to you. Who wants
I
to
was
go
so polite.
first? Experiment, experiment. I would say maybe if I can give some clue.
I can start again. So I started 6 weeks ago with a personal brand coach, and I have like 30 pages of a personal brand workbook. So first, uh, so uh, before starting to plan your content, it's important to know, not as we said before, who you are, who is your target audience. Get super clear on that. What topics can you talk about? So define a few content pillars. Then just prepare like a few formats. Like you have the educational post, you have the connection posts. You can also have a thought-provoking type of posts as well. And social proof, it's also important, and a call to action. So these are like the 5 templates that I learned in the past 6 weeks. So now I created some posts before having finished the coaching. Actually, I said, you know what, I will share my personal branding journey. So I posted. I took this personal branding journey as an inspiration, and I posted every Wednesday. I posted, I think, 6 times already in 6 weeks. And it's when I know, like, okay, what is my tone of voice? What are the topics I want to talk about? So now, actually, what I did in these 6 weeks is I combined personal branding with the importance of personal branding in marketing, in organic marketing. I made also the link with SEO. So actually, it's like a little
Maybe I
project.
can add, you beautifully combined what Debbie said a while ago, clarity. You have
Yes.
complete clarity what you want to talk about. So you have built your content pillars.
Yes. But then I am not done with that. I still have to do that this weekend, is to actually take all the content pieces, all the different content ideas, from the different content pillars, and then put them in each part. So this is educational. This is connecting. What story, like authority story. So apart from the content pillars, and the content ideas you have within these content pillars, it's important to have stories to share,
Correct.
as
So
we
you
said
are
before.
adding your experiences, those real life experiences. That is what maybe is giving a unique tone of voice. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yes.
you agree with that.
Yes. Um, um, I want to finish with this point that apart from just having content that you can share, who content that has different purposes, different type of goals. Yes. The second thing that I also have in my brand book is that you need to have authority stories, like personal stories, that you can combine with these different type of posts, and also approachable stories or authenticity stories. Yeah, so these are really like personal stories, not professional stories, authority stories in SEO, for example, but also authenticity stories that you can combine. But it's important to sometimes add some element of storytelling in your post, not just write an educational post. So, but it's important to do the exercise yourself. Yes, step by step. So I'm in that process, and this I would say shortly. Yeah.
Debbie, Claire, would you like to add something to that?
Um,
Yes.
well, still talking about the clarity. So the only way you can find that balance is working on your clarity, like Maria explained, and not trying to do everything, because there are some trends that would look enticing to talk about. And if you feel like they are not what you want to be known for, they are not what you want your target audience to have in mind about you, I they are not things you should cover. So having that clarity is it for me.
Yeah, I would say I try to share and post things that align as much as possible with my brand identity, but things that will be useful to my target audience, which is medium-sized B2B and SaaS businesses. And then I obviously talk about things that matter to me in the industry, and share things that I'm working on, so that people can see, that maybe one day I'm working on my website, but I'm really struggling today or something. So there's a bit more of a story, and it's my identity and vulnerability too. And as I build out my site, I'm going to share blogs and thought leadership pieces. And I think a combination, like you said, Maria, of different types of posts. And at the moment, trying to share as consistently as possible, so that it gets into a good habit, and it kind of creates a really good brand story of me. Oh, and this is Claire, and this is what she posts about regularly, so that people get to know me.
Agreed. So let's move to our next question. How important is storytelling in personal branding? How do you use it in your content? Of course, nowadays everyone is talking about storytelling. There must be some frameworks or aspects of it that are closely related to personal branding. Would you like to share some insights there?
Yes, I want to share that actually I was reading last week the book Unleashing the Power of Storytelling. It's
Would you be little louder?
I was reading last week the book the Unleash the Power
Unleashing
of
of
Storytelling.
storytelling. Who is the
Exactly.
author? Do you remember? If you would like to suggest that to our audience, maybe that's okay. You
I can
remember?
write it in the chat so I
Yeah,
can.
yeah, no problem.
And so there are the typical questions about finding who you are, but as a company, for example, corporates thought that just sharing what they did, just yeah, we are experts in that, explaining what they do and how many years they've been doing it, that doesn't mean it's a story. So that's also written in that book. A story is when you can humanize it, actually. So when you humanize a series of an events and you make it personal, like this person is doing her job here, or is seeing the importance of her job because it reminds her of her children that she's supporting, etc. I mean, if you can make it humanizing, personal, even as a big corporate, when you can say, look, these are the faces behind our business, and they're doing that every day with passion, and you share a video where you see how excited they are of solving a big issue that has a big impact on healthcare or something like that. um, and you share this with a beautiful small video, then that's a beautiful storytelling. This is an example in corporate, but I would say yeah, don't just say what you do. That's not a story. Like, oh, I started working in 2020 and then I did this and I got an award in that field. I became a speaker. That's not a story. So you know what I mean? Yes. So this is what I learned from reading that book last week. Yeah.
Interesting. So for me, I think everyone loves story. And that's one of the ways and the best ways to connect with your
Yeah.
target audience.
Since we were kids, we all have been told so many stories by our grandparents, by our parents. We all love stories. Yeah. Yeah, Debbie.
So I think hearing stories that you can resonate with from a brand helps you to connect and have them in mind always. We can see example of some marketing campaigns. Most of the video ads that we see, they are always in form of storytelling, allowing us to see what is going on behind the scene and all of that. So for personal brand, um,
Can't hear you, Debbie. We lost you.
mm,
Now? Debbie, I hope you can hear me.
yes, I can hear you. How is it now?
Yeah.
So I was just rounding up that storytelling will never go into extinct. It is what makes us human. We want to see
Okay.
what's going on. We want to hear beyond the generic kind of introduction. We want to know how it happens. How do you feel about it? Because at the end of the day, marketing is all about emotion. It's all about building emotions, sparking that emotion such that your audience will not forget you. And I think storytelling does that very well.
Claire, would you like to add something to that?
Yeah, I think I would just say I agree with what Debbie and Maria have said. I think it's really important to try to build your personal story into your personal brand, and just show people the kind of journey that you've been on, and then it has more emotion and meaning for people, and they can really feel connected to you. So, for example, maybe you worked in digital marketing and then you discovered one area of SEO that you loved, and why, and what was it that really sparked your passion for it, and just project that into your your personal brand. For me, it would be that I love words and languages. And so I discovered that I could combine the two through SEO and international SEO, for example, and that is much more digestible than, oh, I did SEO and now I'm doing international SEO, and it's very dry, isn't it? So I guess just to try and to connect with people more through your own story.
Yeah, I agree. Just announcing what you do or what you were there, it's not a story. Very valuable insights, and we all love stories. Moving to our next section, community and visibility. Initially, we all talked about women in tech SEO also. How has the SEO community helped you grow your personal brand, and how have you given back to show your gratitude?
I would say it's helped my career immensely. It's just helped me to grow so much, and that's been through having lots of mentors along the way, which has been a really massive help for me. Other mentors in digital marketing and in SEO, both at work and through the Women in Tech SEO community. I did the mentorship scheme twice now as a mentor and a mentee, and it's been incredible, just absolutely career changing, I think, for me. At points in my career where I was changing whether to go from agency to in-house or from, again, agency to freelance. I think that's been the kind of my biggest part, a supportive part of the community, and then other colleagues, and then my network as a whole, supporting me going freelancing, giving me testimonials, referrals, advice, and then also participating in podcasts and webinars and things has been amazing, just to be able to have the chance to do that and to connect with like-minded people and to become part of that world. And now I just try to help as much as I can by going into the community channels and answering questions, volunteering for things, giving free advice to people as well. When now I'm here in France, there might be businesses that don't have loads of money, so I'm offering pro bono work as well. And just trying to kind of be as helpful and supportive as possible, both to my clients and to the community, and sharing knowledge and just helping everyone out.
Incredible. Debbie?
Yeah, so we met the SEO community has been a very good community for everyone, beginners and experts. There are a lot of mentoring sessions and coaching. Have benefited a lot of time from them, and that has created this consciousness to help others in me as well. And I believe that as I grow in my career, I will be able to also become a mentor for upcoming SEOs or writers.
Maria?
So actually, I joined the Slack channel of Women in Tech SEO 2 months ago, end of January, and this is my third podcast in 2 months. I joined first in Spanish, so a Spanish one I did, and UK DACH podcast, I would say, with that network. All coming from the WTS opportunities section in this channel. And this is the third one. I love to speak, so writing would be a new challenge for me. I would like to start writing this year. But I love to speak, and that's I'm a mentee right now, but I also want to give back and become a mentor. So I am a very generous type, and I also offer like free free tips, just like that. And for example, I also for free, I will talk about SEO for coaches for the ICF community in Munich. Yes, so I will prepare a talk about SEO and how they can prepare to be relevant in these times online. So that's what I'm doing, but the more time passes, I hope I will be able to contribute more, because that's what I want in the end. Yeah, I want to create impact as a person, as a SEO, as a coach. That's my big mission. So yeah, that's why we do all this, right? Yeah.
Lovely. Maybe in the interest of time, we'll speed up a little bit. Do you recommend speaking at events, writing and mentoring, or all of it? I think you have already answered most of it, that writing, speaking.
I
Shall
think
we move?
I,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was just
please.
going to say, I think maybe just do what works for you, because I guess some people aren't really that comfortable with speaking at big events, especially. So maybe do the low hanging fruit kind of things like mentoring or writing, sharing your knowledge in other ways. I think it depends what you feel would be your easiest thing to do, I guess, if you're starting out, to prioritize.
Mhm.
Great. I'll move to the next section. Initially, I think Debbie had touched base with that, mistakes and lessons. What's one thing you wish you did differently when you started building your personal brand? Mistakes or yeah,
So
yeah.
when building my personal brand, one of the biggest mistake I think I made was not leveraging client testimonials or building my personal portfolio, because your portfolio is part of your personal brand. For me, I didn't get to have that understanding very early in my career as a freelancer. And now I'm working so hard to achieve that. So that is one big mistake I would recommend, that if anyone is starting out, every recommendation, try as much as possible to get recommendation. You can ask, and all those positive words, all those testimonials, have a folder for them where you collate everything and you can always refer back to them.
Not having a clear strategy. So now it's the first time that I'm doing the real deep work. But before that, I just had a few ideas in my head, and then I was creating a post without having a clear strategy. So actually, I would have take the time earlier to have a clear strategy for my personal brand. It's okay if it changes. Yeah, if you do rebrands, it's fine. But at least have some clear strategy and being a bit more consistent. So this is one major, I would say, mistake. And yeah, I think yeah, and maybe just do it. Yeah, take the courage to just do it. Yeah.
Yeah, our audience is loving this, prioritizing your personal brand based on your prioritizing. So, Claire, would you like to add
I
something?
think, yeah, I would just say I wish I'd had the confidence to share my thoughts on things that I found interesting or insights on industry topics at the start, without feeling like I was an imposter. And I know it's a classic, but it's such an amazing industry and people are so friendly and supportive. I think it's fine to just have your opinion and be authentic and say what you think about something, because in SEO as well, there's not always a right or wrong answer. It's really about the discovery and the debate and everyone helping each other to get a solution. So I would just say be confident and take part and be authentic, because I
Lovely.
really
I would
was
quickly
nervous.
move to my next question in the interest of time. Any tips for people who have less time and how they can strategize to build their personal brand in 2025? We all know we have some time crunch, and then we also have our self-doubts, imposter syndromes. How can we overcome all these challenges and start working on building a personal brand?
I think for me, being part of the community and really finding your people and having like a good support network, especially as a freelancer, is really important. So that you have people to talk to when you go to conferences, and you have people to bounce ideas off, and you have people in the community who can help you if you need a coach or you need a website branding advice or something like that. And that can all come together to help you really develop your brand and the way that you're going to go forward.
Okay, this brings me to my last question of the evening. What advice would you give to women in SEO who hesitate to show up online or feel like imposters? Like, how can we overcome that imposter syndrome? I
Um,
I think just give it a try. There is no, Claire just said, there
I
is no
would
right or wrong.
say just fake it till you make it and be the expert that you kind of visualize yourself being and continuously do it, and then you'll build your confidence. I think that's a big kind of lesson that I've learned over the years.
Oh, maybe if you by the time that you're defining your strategy, so I would say like in parallel, I would say before posting yourself, if it's scary, then I would say just start commenting, share, comment, and after that you will gain confidence because people will say, oh, thank you, it's very valuable what you just shared in comments. So you will if you ask open questions in your comments and you give valuable input, not just say, oh, thank you, bye, then you will create some engagement and you will feel recognized from your expertise and your input. And also, if you see something super interesting, just share and add a little thing, just 1-2 sentences. It's fine to start, yeah. And
Get
then the more
started.
you do that, the more you will share, the more you will add, the more you will create
Correct.
yourself a
Yeah,
post. Exactly, step by step.
it is more like a journey inwards. You have to get started and don't hesitate. So I have a interesting question from the audience. For someone who is not a writer, what tools they should use for personal branding?
Not a
This
writer.
question is from Isha Mehendirata. I think
I
maybe
mean,
ChatGPT or Gemini would
yeah,
be the.
yeah.
There are so
There's,
many nowadays, Claude and free ones. You just Grok also you can explore on X.
Yes, but
That would
yeah,
help.
exactly.
you have to feed the tool with your unique brand identity, brand message, tone of voice, your target audience. You have to give all the information about yourself and who you want to help, and how the way you write everything you have to put there, to not just sound like any other person. So
And there's
yeah.
something I would always also add. As far as you have your thought in your head, you can voice it out. You can also use ChatGPT's voice recording to say whatever you want to say, and tell ChatGPT to also restructure, add all those elements that Maria mentioned, and then you have what you want to say.
Yes, I
All
agree.
right, I'll move to my next question. For an introvert, what tips you would give? What platforms or some framework they should use for online personal brand building? For introverts, I think initially we all are introverts and we have our doubts.
Yeah.
That's a hard one. I think use all the tools that we've just talked about, but also use your community and your colleagues and peers to kind of read your work and give feedback and things before you push it out there into the world, because I think it's really important to get another perspective when you've been so in writing stuff about you and in your head as well. It's hard to especially as an introvert, it's really hard to sometimes get perspective on what you're putting
Maybe
out.
they can keep one doc. Whatever ideas they have, they can keep noting it down there. Whatever posts they like, they can copy those links there, and that would give them good insights and start evaluating and going through that and help get started.
Yeah, or collaborate with other experts to write an article, for example. Like writing is one possibility, but also follow other introverts in your field in SEO
Yeah,
and see how they do it. Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
I'll ask another question. Sorry, there are many questions. So there is one question for Claire. What kind of efforts are needed to get discovered on LLMs like ChatGPT?
I think it's a tricky one because there's search augmented ones like ChatGPT paid, and then there's the static ones. So you want to focus on the search augmented ones and just try to focus on your brand, obviously, because that's the thing that's going to give you most visibility online, with the fact that it's moving away a bit from keyword research and appearing like that. So you want to just have a really consistent online presence. And I think you can see as well where your site's appearing in LLMs and which pages it might be appearing for, and then check those pages and optimize links on those pages as much as you can. And just talk to them as well and feed them information and check what information about your brand is already in there. And if it's not right or it needs tweaking, then you can just update it.
To wrap up, how difficult is it to find the right coach or mentor? Maybe it's for Maria.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's. How can I say? It's not that easy, of course, sometimes to find the right match. But I think everyone brings some experience to you. What I can say right now is that I can connect very well with my mentor and my coach. They're not like me, and that's okay. But their experience has to be valuable with you. You have to feel comfortable. But it's okay if your coach or you are introvert and your and your coach and mentor is not, or has another type of personality. That's fine. I would say just follow their work and see if you feel. If you like how they talk, how they write, and if you feel inspired by their experience and their knowledge. So for my coach, actually, I followed her before I paid her, so it's a paid relationship. Um, and the mentor, it was a surprise. So I think I saw her name before, but it was a total surprise and a very good match. So I would say sometimes it's luck, but in general, I would say just follow and then start to collaborate and start asking for help to people who you admire and who you feel comfortable with. Yeah.
Great. I will ask one last question. Do you have some quick tips or questions which you think one should ask to make a great story? We all talk about storytelling, and some important essence one should have in storytelling. That means the person is asking, like, what are the elements of good storytelling?
Um, a quick tip on storytelling, I would say having a hook is very important. Then like a person, a character has a struggle, is facing a challenge. It's like in movies, it's always up and down the story. You have to look at the theater, movies, actors, what do they do? And there is a problem. And the hero, the character, faces a challenge with courage, determination, um, uh, being resourceful, for example, and then finds a way to solve the situation. And these are like the basic elements of a story.
Maybe I can add, I also read one book about storytelling. There, the writer said you should begin with the end in mind. Make it more interesting, think what it is, and then go opposite in the beginning. Then you will make an interesting story, and there should be something that keeps the audience hooked till the end. When we watch movies, in the end, there are some little details hidden which we miss, and then they come out later. Oh, this was linked to this thing. Small interesting insights, and you have to keep your audience asking for more. And then the author also said homework for life, that you keep maintaining some points, keep like maintain an Excel sheet or doc where you write this is important, it can help me, and later on visit that doc and use it for your posts or storytelling. He called it homework for life.
Wow, thanks.
I like that. I'm going to do that.
Thank all of you for being so patient and sharing all your interesting insights, learnings, journey, and experiences. Thank you so much to our audience and their super informative questions, which helped us dig deeper. Thanks, Debbie. Thanks, Claire. And thanks, Maria.